Hello everyone, my name is Sunny and today's topic for today's pick a card reading is going to be what do they think of me? So I have three piles. Pile number one is on the left, pile number two is in the middle, and pile number three is on the right side. And go ahead and stop the video if you feel like you need more time. Otherwise skip to the timestamp in the description and I'll see you at your selection. So I will go ahead and start with pile number one. I'm gonna go ahead and move these cards. Okay, won't mess with that anymore. Pile one, your first card is a Tower upright. Your second card is the Three of Wands upright. And then your last card is the Ten of Swords upright. So what do they think of me? The individual person you're thinking of. It doesn't have to be romantic, but more or less, I think this person thinks that you're going through a lot of heaviness. Maybe it's a heavy stage in life right now where you have a lot on your plate. I also feel you could be going through a lot of turmoil, just chaos. I feel this is somehow, I usually sometimes say for the most part that changes are brought on individually by yourself, internally. But for some reason, for this pile, I think it's the opposite. Oh, sorry, I'm messing with the light. I think it's because that's me, but that's my hand, and I just noticed that it's gonna rain. Not that it's relevant, but if you see a change in the color, it's either my hand that I'm moving, or it could be the light that's going out because it's going to rain. But for you, pile one, I think that this person thinks that you're going through a lot of change that's brought on by outside sources. I don't think it's necessarily something that you decided to, I guess, make the change yourself, right? I think there must have been circumstances that you were forced to kind of give in, that you can no longer fight against. And I think that with that Ten of Swords, I definitely think that you could have been backstabbed. I think that you could have been, I think that you might have trusted the wrong people, the wrong crowds, possibly, and you're having a drastic change in people that you're trusting and people that are, I guess, in your vicinity that you are okay with interacting. I also think that you're removing any toxicity from yourself, and you're going through these rebirth I can't say the word. You're going through this rebirth process in which you really just kind of focus more on yourself and not on others. But it's a lot of changes that you can see on the outside. It's not so much like a mental change. It's a physical change. That's why I feel like it's something people can see, and that's why I think it's like maybe you are removing friends, you're changing friend groups, you're removing yourself from locations, or changing locations, changing jobs, moving from, if you got married, you're leaving that toxic. Not everyone in your family can be toxic, but majority of the people that are around you, that is in your family, can be toxic to you, right? And you could possibly be moving into a different family, acquiring a different family, or even just building a family with your friendships, your friends, your new friends. You found new trust. I overall think that you, pile one, I don't know why it's important to say, I know this isn't so much of like a card of it's not so much a card of family, but for some reason I can't help but think it's just family. You're building yourself a much better stable ground. You're renewing yourself, and you're really focusing on what makes you happy. Sorry, I think you can hear me drinking water. I overall think that you pile one with the Three of Wands upright. I also think that you're looking at your horizons for something new. I think you're looking at better dates. I mean, these two, like, for some reason, I can't help but notice that the outside cards, which is the left and the right side, with the Tower and the Ten of Swords, I think that there's such muddy sky, like, for some of you, this is very specific. Maybe you were, unfortunately, in a scenario where your home was destroyed or affected in some aspect, and you basically have to rebuild it, or you basically have to move, and that's why you're looking at, like, in the middle is you standing in this plain. Maybe it was like a flood, a hurricane, a desert, or like a tornado, something that just demolished, right, your security, your sense of security, and you're having to kind of build up from where you ended up, right? At least you were safe. Maybe that's a specific scenario, and you're looking at the, like, the, I want to say it's the planner. I don't think that's the word, but the blueprints. That's a better way of saying it. You're looking at the blueprints of basically how you can build again or fix. Or you're looking at the damage, and you're like, okay, well, this is what happened. Now I have to fix whatever I can, and start new and start fresh and start stronger. So that could be for some of you, but I also think for most of you, it's just going to be you looking at your environment from a bird's eye view and seeing what's going to be fitting right with you, what's going to be really helping you with your situation where you can grow as a person. I also think for pile 1, just to kind of sum it up, I think you're going to be in a much better place. For some reason, pile 1, I think that I just can't help but look at all the shadows that I'm creating if I keep moving, so I apologize. I tend to move a lot with my hands as I speak, and especially if I lean. If I lean, I tend to mess with light, so I apologize. But yes, I'm sorry. I especially think that for you, pile 1, I think that you're cutting your losses overall, and I think that you're going to be in a much better place, if that makes sense. So that's how this is so specific, and maybe that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's more or less what this person's thinking. Or you could have been backstabbed by many people, and you're just starting fresh, and you're starting new, and you don't care what happened. You're focusing on the future, you're not focusing on the past. Maybe you have a strong, like, Rahu energy at this moment where it wants you to make drastic changes, or you have your nodes that are affecting you in some way, but I just definitely feel there's a lot of change, and that's how you come across to this person, that's what they're thinking about, is that right now your mental space is not where they can easily approach you, because you have a lot on your mind, you have things to worry about, more pressing issues is what I'm trying to say. You're prioritizing a lot more necessary things in your life, and I think that you are done with, like, the cutthroat environment, or just this harshness, there's just drasticness, like there's extremes. There you go, it's extremes. Maybe like people are extreme in their extreme moments, in the sense of like extreme mood swings, there you go, with you, or they're just very ruthless, and it's daunting, and you've been fatigued, and you're tired, and you want something different. So I hope that helped pile number 1. I definitely think that you're coming across as someone that just wants to focus in developing more positive changes in your life. And I don't know whether you want this person in your life or not right now, but that's not what's coming across in this moment. I think they can tell that you are trying to cut loose from things that are not helping you or supporting you in this moment. And I think that you will get justice in the near future, where you're going to get what you want in a fair treatment. And, I'm happy for you, but I definitely think it's going to take a lot of turmoil, a lot of change, and a lot of things for you to get to that point. So I hope that helped pile 1. I think I spent more time than I wanted to on this pile. I will start with pile number 2, but I think that was a special message that you needed to hear, possibly. But that's what that person thinks of you. So pile number 2. Pile number 2. Okay, let me go ahead and do one at a time. I don't want to drop them. Pile number 2, you have the 6 of Wands upright. Your next card is the 8 of Cups upright. And the last card you have is Page of Swords, reversed. So what does this person think of you? In this moment, this person thinks of you as someone who you're receiving praise, or this person is praising you for walking away from things that no longer served you. And you're biting your tongue, you know when to speak and when not to speak. So you're just kind of in this space. For some reason, that was such a clear message for me specifically. Not me as a reader, but for me to tell you first and foremost. Pile number 2. I definitely think that I can't help but wonder if you finally found some balance in your life. And that's interesting for me to say because I know there's a reversal here, but there's sword energy, cup energy, and like wand energy. So I wonder if you're kind of building up to like a very, I can't help but feel that you're like, for some reason I kind of want to pull a confirmation card for this one. Because I have a feeling what I want to say, but I don't want to say it just because I can give you a different meaning. But let me go ahead and I'll wait on the confirmation card. But overall, I definitely do think this person wants to praise you for the dedication and hard work you've been putting off. I think it's paying off. It feels like you've been working on something, and maybe it wasn't extremely hard, but it was definitely something that you had to be dedicated and motivated. You had to be very focused. It was like not tunnel vision, but definitely something that you needed to pay close attention to because it wasn't making you happy, or it wasn't giving you the results that you wanted to. I also think that you're someone who has been changing their perspective on how they speak to themselves, how your thought process has been. You're not so maybe negative, or you're not so judgy. You're not a very judgy person with yourself. You bite your tongue, and you don't really know how to talk to yourself a lot better compared to how they might have seen you. For some reason, I feel like this person does know you kind of good, whoever you're thinking about. And I definitely think that they can see the change in how you approach life, right? And it always starts and it stems from within. So I definitely think that's something that is praiseworthy. So if this is what you're doing currently, or if you already did it, congratulations, pile 2. This is a remarkable feature to admire because we all fall into places where we can be great with ourselves, but somehow we fall into, not temptations, but into these spaces and these dark spaces of wanting to not be kind to ourselves for, specific situations, and you get to you linger in that negative space for quite a while. And to get out of it is kind of hard because it's not always something that others can do. You have to build yourself up from the ground up and get that confidence to really reach for the sky and not let yourself down again, or disappoint yourself, or just not be very forgiving with your past actions and who you were, right? I think that you might have changed how you speak to others, how you approach how you approach others and how you approach yourself, and maybe you allowed others to talk to you like this, possibly in like a rude way, or just, it's not so much mean, but it's just gives off this energy of like, if you allowed this to happen, they didn't respect your boundaries, or they didn't respect your words. I definitely think that you learned to walk away from the people that didn't allow you to express yourself freely without judgment, or putting their 2 cents unnecessarily when the situation didn't call for that. You just maybe wanted to vent. So that's praiseworthy action you're doing, and I think that you deserve that. I think that's why you're saying that you're being praised for actions that you're doing currently, and you deserve it. Like, if maybe it feeds your ego a bit, but in the best way. I think it's building up your character. And for some reason, I was thinking of this um, I think you're becoming a much better wholesome person, and I couldn't help but wonder if you were building yourself to the world card. And I actually pulled the world, but it was reversed. So you did pull up I don't know why. I did shuffle the cards, and I was like, I just can't help but wonder if you are going to get the world card, because I feel you're getting all these energies. You see how the world card is like getting a little bit of here, a little bit of there, so just kind of maneuvering themselves to be a more worldly person. So that's why I can't help but wonder. I really can't help to wonder if you're the kind of person who you're expanding yourself to be better, for more. You want more. You won't settle for anything less than what you deserve. And that's why I feel it's like sword, cup, wand, what's next, cardinal. I think you're driving yourself up to that space of, even the magician. I think the I mean, for me, I kept thinking of the world, but the magician is also another good one that encompasses this, like a jack of all trades kind of energy. And I feel for you, pile number 2, I think you're kind of building yourself up morally, mentally, physically, spiritually. You're really building up yourself to be quite an expansive person. Very Jupiterian energy right now. That's what I feel. Are you feeding your soul, is what I'm trying to say. And that's really interesting. So I definitely think that's what I feel for you, pile number 2. You're someone that's expanding themselves with all the best qualities of everything, because you valued yourself. And I think that's what this person thinks of you. They definitely see that there's a big, not like super drastic change, but they can see that this change on how you allow others to approach you and you approach others, and how you talk to yourself has made a significance in your life. And maybe that's all it took. You just needed a little push for yourself to really get yourself in a better ground, a more stable ground for yourself, where you can wield energies. And maybe even then you could have moved elsewhere. I think you're planning to, or just planning to travel possibly for you, pile 2. I just can't help but feel that you're just kind of like wanting to just move. You're in this movement, move, let's go energy. But in the most in the way where you can learn, teach and learn. There's this like energy where you just, very accessible, I feel, but also you give yourself your place. So I hope that helped, pile number 2. That's what this person thinks of you in this moment. And again, I'm kind of trying not to specify who this person is, but you more or less know what this is. So I hope that helped, pile number 2. And I will start with pile number 3. So pile number 3, let me show you a close-up of your cards. Pile number 3, you have the 5 of Swords upright. Okay, and then the next card is the Queen of Swords reversed. And then your final card is the Page of Cups upright. So pile number 3, what does this person think of you? I think this person knows, or more or less thinks, you have a strong fighting spirit. You could possibly pick your battles to win. I think you always strive for success, but you also know when to pull back your sword. Because look at how the first card is wielding, the man is wielding the sword, and the second card is the queen holding her sword back. So it's like action, reaction, or there's a saying, but I can't think of it right now, but for every action there's a reaction, and you know when to not be reactive. I think, there's a time and a place to attack, right? I think that you have a way with words, and you're very creative. So I can't help but wonder if you have strong air placements in your chart, or is this person, you're coming across to this person as someone who's very well spoken, well read, a strong air energy. So that's why, So that's why I feel that this person thinks of you like that. That you're very intellectually stimulating, or very smart compared to them, of course. Remember, this is what this person thinks of you, so that's where I'm putting myself in that perspective of this person from an outside source. I also think that you could be very competitive, or maybe you like to compete with this person. You have a fighting spirit. I just keep thinking you're a fighting spirit, you're a warrior, but you have a softness to you, and there's a delicacy, there's an intricacy of having both energies. There's like an inflow and outflow, so I think you have a healthy manner when it comes to this. A healthy, I don't think it's a manner, I think it's established traits, yeah. But basically it's a healthy way to exude energy in and out, and I feel that you create things. Are you poetic? Are you writing? Are you someone that does poetry? And I feel like you're an author, or I can't help but wonder if you use your words to heal people. Or it heals you at the very least. Because sword energy is still someone who can be, at its worst, but at its worst, someone who can be manipulative, or someone who can be cutthroat and have a silver tongue. I think it's what it's called, a silver tongue. Someone that can be ruthless with their words and cold and harsh, just not very considerate, right? But at its best, it can be someone who knows how to say things in the right moments that are meaningful and inspiring and healing for others, because you know how to really dissect something and understand it, and you don't let it go until you really grasp the situation and how you can categorize and how you can understand it and how you can help others understand it in much simpler terms without the whole jargon that you understand, because again, not everyone is someone who wants to constantly be in that mental space. It can be very draining, and I think you can handle those energies, but I also think you know how to allow others to understand your thoughts and their own situations, because you know how to use the power of words. The strength in speech is very interesting, because of course you can fear it, as people fear speaking publicly, but there's also strength to speaking publicly, because you allow others to feel the power of what it means to hear someone say the things that they cannot speak. And I think it is very it's not an underdog quality, but it's something that gets overlooked. Many people might not see that as a strength, but it is a quiet strength, and I definitely feel that for you, pile number 3, you have this capability of having that creative outlet. So that's why I think that you help others heal. Maybe you're into psychiatry, or maybe you learn from the esoteric practices and occult because you do research. You know how to really use the power of words and knowledge to help others and help yourself understand thyself in a much more in-depth situation. Sorry, I'm getting a little nasally, so I apologize because my allergy is starting to flare up. But I definitely think that there's quite strength to you, but it's vicious. It can be ruthless when you need to. You can be competitive. You can face others people off. You can hurt people with your words should you choose to, because they cross you or they hurt the people that are around you, and you care about others. I definitely think that you care about others, and you are very eccentric in a very colorful way in the sense of your speech. I have a feeling that you probably cuss people out. And you probably cuss them out in those eloquent terms if you want to get snobby. But I also think it's probably called for. So I definitely think that you give people a piece of your mind, and that's what this person thinks about you, and you know how to stand your ground and hold yourself without others, but you can also help others in the same way. It's a very creative outlet that your speech allows you to really dial down, and I definitely think that's why I keep thinking you're an author, or you're a writer, you're a blogger, you're a psychiatrist, you're a counselor. You just use your speech, your verbal speech, to express yourself, and it's very healthy. I just feel you have a very healthy outlet when it comes to how you talk and what you write and what isn't said, maybe through your mouth, but through your mind and your hands. That's why I keep thinking there's a strong air element to this pile. And that's what this person thinks of you. They think that you're someone who can hold your sword back and be sweet. The same words that can cut through the soul can heal the soul and stitch the soul back. It's an interesting dynamic for this person to see from afar or from up close, but they know that there's two sides to the sword. There's the sword that can cut, and then there's the sword that can, stitch up. Although I think I'm trying to say a needle or scalpel, but you get the gist of the analogy. So I hope that helped pile number 3. That's what this person thinks of you. Select a different pile if you were attracted to. There could be a message there for you, or maybe not everything resonated. Just only take what resonates if you stick around to hear all 3 piles. I always like to remind people that I'm not sure if everybody listens to, I don't blame you if you don't, but sometimes I like to say that in the beginning of the video or at the end of the video. So again, I hope that helped pile number 3. That's what this person thinks of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's not mandatory, but it's very much welcome. Have a great day because you made it a great day, not because I told you to. And remember, that's your own energy. Your energy is your own results. So thank you all for sticking by, and bye-bye, everybody.